A lot of times they'll use this acronym DAMB. And that stands for direct actuating mechanical bucket. So direct actuating means we'll have basically that one part between the cam and the valve, and it's a mechanical bucket. So there's no moving parts in that bucket. So it's just a solid chunk of metal. So on that, we have just basically this solid bucket. So cam's going to push on here. The tip in the middle here will actually push down on the valve stem itself. Now it's solid, so we've got to think about clearance, right? We've got to have some clearance. We may have to adjust that clearance. So there's a couple of different ways manufacturers will do that. One is they'll make these buckets of all different thicknesses. So if you need more clearance, you would have to change this out for basically a thinner bucket. If you need less clearance, you have to change it out with a thicker bucket. So you're actually swapping out that entire component. The other way manufacturers do it is they cut a little recess in the top here, and we have basically a little shim that lives in the top of it. So if we need to change the clearance, we would just remove that shim and install a thicker or a thinner shim. So that's how we would set our clearance. So this has become a very common arrangement. One of the downsides to this is in order to change out that shim or change out that bucket, sometimes you can do it with the cam still in place with some special tools. Other times, because this is all buried right underneath the cam itself, sometimes the cam actually has to be physically removed in order to change out those shims or change out those buckets. So doing a valve adjustment on this is not going to be a real quick process, generally speaking. But the way the system's set up, we're going to have very little wear and tear. So typically that valve adjustment's not something we're doing very often. So here's another overhead cam setup. This is more similar to what we saw before. So we have our cam, we have our rocker arm or cam follower, again kind of two different names for the same thing. That's connecting our cam to our valve, but then we also have our hydraulic lifter. And again, typically when it's set up in this arrangement, we don't call it a lifter anymore. We call it a hydraulic lash adjuster. But it still serves the same function. Because it's hydraulic, it's maintaining that zero lash or zero clearance. And again, it's using oil pressure to do that. Here's another version of that same thing. So cam operates the rocker arm, connects to the valve. But this one, we have basically a really small version of this hydraulic lash adjuster built into the tip of the rocker arm. So still maintains that zero clearance. A lot of the Mitsubishi engines use this design. Some of the Mazda engines have used this design. This works pretty well. The one downside to these, though, is these lifters, because they're so small, if for some reason these things get starved for oil, like we ran the engine low on oil or something like that, sometimes it takes a long time for these things to actually get completely full of oil again and stop making noise. So if they start making noise, sometimes it could take a week or so of driving to really get them totally full again and get them to quiet down. So they're pretty sensitive in terms of that.